YouTubers, Mike Martins here. Mike Martins channel. Payless to close all 248 Canadian stores. Liquidation sales expected. What is happening here, people? What is happening, people? This is by the staff and Canadian press. And obviously Global News is covering it. Now, this is going to be a phenomenon that's going to come to Canada. It's not too popular in Canada, but you're going to start seeing this phenomena of empty malls, vacant mall space, vacant strip malls. You're going to start seeing a lot of places hand in their keys to their landlords and whatnot because the cost of operating is becoming way too expensive. Luckily, I think Payless don't own any of their locations. I think they do have several in the States where they own the buildings, like the actual location themselves. But I think there's going to be a lot of problems, with them closing 2,500 units, all 2,500 stores in North America. That's a bit of a sting, especially in Canada, where jobs are becoming more and more scarce. Payless to close all 248 Canadian stores, liquidation sales expected. Is the ghost mall phenomena coming to Canada? That's the question. Toronto Payless ShoeSource Canada Inc. says it will soon file for creditor protection in Canada to close all 2,500 of its North American stores this spring. The Kansas-based company's chief restructuring officer, Stephen, says in a release that the closures are happening because prior reorganization left the company ill-equipped for today's retail environment with too much remaining debt and too large of a store footprint. Documents filed with the Ontario Superior Court show that the company had an oversupply of inventory and recently, as this winter, was forced to sell merchandise to steep markdowns. So they've been clearancing stuff right off. The company, which has also filed for bankruptcy in the U.S., says it will begin closing stores at the end of March, though some will be open until the end of May while it conducts liquidation sales. Documents show that the brand employs 2,400 workers in Canada and owns 248 stores in the country. The documents say that the company has failed to pay February's rent for its 220 stores in Canada and reported an operating loss of more than $12 million last year. So is this just a phase that's happening in Canada? They said North America, but what's going on in Canada? We had like a bunch of Sears closures. Then we had Target, if you guys remember, Target closed down too. Are we going to start seeing the empty mall phenomena? I like how a lot of the empty Targets now in malls, they actually build a fake wall in front of where the Target used to be inside the mall, so you don't see that part. And then they put like signs coming soon, or check out this food court upstairs. So you wouldn't even notice that entire portion of the mall is completely vacant. Very interesting little tidbits they do to set it up so the mall doesn't look, So a lot of malls that lost a Target are kind of like staging it like it's not there's nothing there. We never had a Target. What are you talking about? This mall is always vacant. We never have vacancies in this mall. Tenants are always coming to open new shops. Now, for a mom and pop shoe store to open up, the rent, the cost of production, the cost of borrowing, the cost of everything is going to dissuade people from opening their own shoe stores. But I want to be the first to say this because there's this really interesting phenomena in Canada that happens. Because in Surrey, they had a store called The Brick. It was called The Brick. The Brick closed down, liquidated that location, and they called it The Bright. And the sign looked the same and red and the same letters, and it's called The Bright. I have a feeling you're gonna see pop up Paid Less Shoes. Instead of Payless Shoes, I think they're gonna open in Canada Paid Less Shoes. What do you guys think about that? I honestly think that might pop up soon, because it's happened already in Surrey, BC, where they opened The Bright and it looked like The Brick, and then Paid Less Shoes I think is going to show up on every corner or every pre-location. I don't know. I'm just being a clown. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. More closures. Was it 2,400 private sector jobs gone? Private sector jobs is what funds our police, hospitals, garbage pickup, snow removal. It's basically what funds our city expenditures. Now, with the loss of that much job, with the cutback on readmittance, it's going to be a very interesting way to see how this plays out. Let me know, and if you're one of the employees that are going to lose your jobs, please come on the show. Mike in the Night, add me on Skype, Mike Martins 1980. Thanks for commenting and viewing, and let me know what's happening in your neck of the woods with job closures or private sector closures.